Hey you guys, welcome to today's video. Recently I did a video with my brows, my under eyes, and my eyes, and I had a sample of this Teint Idole Ultra Wear Concealer from Lancome. Now, Angie reviewed this and loved it. She used to use the Maquis Complex, which is something I never tried before. I wanted to give it a try for myself because Angie and I have different skin types. There are many things that she has said this isn't drying, and I get it, and I find it to be very drying. I also have very different issues under my eyes. I have a lot of crepiness, I have a trough, I have puffiness, and I have a lot of darkness. And my darkness isn't all like blue. I have some blueness here, but I have redness here, which you can't see because I have put on my foundation, and before that I put on my sunscreen, and my sunscreen has a little bit of coverage. Now, I didn't put the sunscreen, for instance, my chest is usually raging red. The sunscreen is on my chest right now. That's how much coverage there is. But I didn't put full coverage under my eyes, I just tapped. And when I did my foundation, I may have gotten a teeny bit of foundation under my eyes. We're going to do a several day wear test on this one because, you know, I think for many of us, we might get some sunscreen under our eyes. We might get a little foundation under our eyes. But the next time I try this, I'm going to have no sunscreen that has pigmentation and no foundation at all. So you can really see the redness. I am going to put this on, and then I'm going to read what they're saying about it. But I can tell you, it's for all over. It's ultra wear, so it's supposed to be long wearing, and it is supposed to be hydrating, and they're also saying that it's full coverage. I memorized it all. I got a very small sample from Sephora because it's hard to get samples of this, and by the way, I had the hardest time finding this. It was sold out at Sephora in my shade, which is 260. It's sold out online at Sephora. It's sold out at Lancome. I finally found it at Ulta in store. Like, nobody at Ulta knows about this. And let's give it a try. So I had this very small sample, and I was putting it on with my finger, which is what I usually do, but I'm not so sure that's the best way to go about it. Huge doe foot. And it was hard to pull out, so that's good. It means they were taking off the excess. But the final day I used it with this, and I really like the result. I don't know if I'm going to need to today because I layered. So we'll get into it. We'll do another wear test. I'm going to go in with the doe foot because that's how most people do it. Wish me luck. And I think less is best, always. Going to take a beauty blender and just tap it out. And again, this isn't my usual process, but this is a different product. So we're going to try it a couple of different ways with these wear tests. I'm definitely going to use my color corrector from Charlotte Tilbury. Now this color is supposed to be neutral, but I find it's a teeny bit yellow, and it's not very bright. My next choice would be 215. And I was thinking, you know what, I kind of like it not being too brightening. After all, I do have puffiness. Why make that brighter? It just stands out. And then with this side, same thing. I'm going to apply with the doe foot, but blend it in with my finger. And a lot of my coloration is right down here. I follow Shireen Idris, who is a dermatologist based in New York. And she said one way to tell if your discoloration is shadowing from all the puffiness, the little mountains, the little fat pads, or if it's really darkness, is to lie down on a flat surface and get a mirror and look. Generally, if it's just shadowing, you're not going to see it anymore. But if it's actual discoloration, it's still going to be there. And I found that when I did that, the most prominent thing for me was the redness right down here. And I believe that that is indicative of, and makes sense for aging skin, that the skin is becoming more thin, and you can see the vascularity going on under skin, all the little veins pumping blood around all over the place. I'm using a very light touch here because this is not a thick product. It's much thinner than the Clinique and the Kosas, which I love both of those. And I'm just going to keep on tapping quite lightly, but not swiping because I want the product to stay where I put it. So we're troughing right here already, right there. And we'll probably do it right here in a second. So I'm just going to take this, my Wayne Goss brush that is no longer being made, the Kosas powder. And I don't want to put too much on, so I might start right here, and lately I've been kind of powdering in that trough. I have to say, though, I've been wearing this for a couple of days, and it looks like skin. It looks more like you have foundation under your eyes than concealer, but it doesn't even really look very foundation-y. This has not built up yet, so I'm not going to go in with that. So, it's 12:30, and I will probably come back around 3 or 4. The days are getting shorter. Alright, so I'm going to pull you in a little bit so you can see what is going on. I think that it looks quite nice. I feel that the coverage is good. It feels pretty good. It does indeed look a teeny bit yellow. You know what? Let's do Clé de Peau this and by Terry that. So this is the Clé de Peau. I'm just going to pick up whatever's on the back of the lid here. And it just has a very slightly pink situation. And I'm going to put that on my right. And it's quite brightening as well. But I can definitely see a difference. This is definitely brighter. And the By Terry powder in Rosy Light. And yeah, I'm going to go ahead and finish my makeup, and I'll come back later on, and then we'll go on to day 2. Alright you guys, it is 4 o'clock. I'm back. There's the teeniest bit of troughing, and I mean teeny. I wouldn't even call this troughing. It's usually a lot more. It doesn't look bad at all. Even when I pull down on this little wrinkle area here, you don't see it gathering into anything. Or I don't with this mirror. Alright you guys, today is day 2. You saw my comeback from yesterday, and it looked perfectly fine. I did powder it twice, so today I want to apply it the way I usually apply, which we're about to do, and just powder it once, like I normally would. Then I kind of do this. It is not as thick as what I'm used to from the Clinique and the Kosas, and then pat it in. I usually don't do the middle finger because that's the largest, but too late now. On this eye, we're going to do this. So this is the Charlotte Tilbury Corrector. And as you can see, the corrector takes care of a lot. But we're going to go in with some more of this. In comparison, I'm definitely getting much more coverage on this side, which makes sense. I'm going to add some over here because that's something else I noticed when I tried this the final time. I ended up doing a couple of layers, and this layers up very nicely. So on this side is essentially 2 layers, and on this side is the Charlotte Tilbury and 1 layer. By Terry powder. This is what's going on for me today. Lucy has a doctor's appointment. It takes me 45 minutes to get there and 45 minutes to get back, and we're not allowed inside. So I will be sitting in my car at 1:30 in the afternoon when it's hot for probably an hour. So it's going to be giving this makeup a little bit of a test. Alright you guys, it's 4 o'clock, so this has been on for about 5 hours. Let us take a look. It looks really good. It looks really good on this eye in particular. No troughing. Now I did come back just maybe an hour after I put this on, and I use this brush here to pat everything down, but this looks great. I have some I have something on my nose. I have no idea what that is. This side doesn't look as good, but I have more wrinkles, and this side of my face actually altogether is worse than this side. This is the driving side. Could that be it? It's within the realm of possibility, but there's more wrinkles over here. And I'm going to pull in so you can see what's going on right there. It's kind of, you know, congealed up. Not really, that's not the right word, but you get what I'm saying. But this is like a 5x mirror. When I look over here at 3 feet or so, I think it looks decent. Is it offering the coverage I want? I just feel like I have darkness right here. And this is where I am darker, but I don't know if it's any different than my other concealers. It still looks like skin. All right, you guys, today is going to be day 3. Today is day 3. I'm going to do some swatch comparisons to some other things. So I had an appointment earlier today, and I was really quite in a hurry as usual. I didn't leave myself enough time, and so I didn't shoot the application of this, but I took it off. I've put on my eye cream, and I've waited about 10 minutes, so we are ready to go. But first, let's do some comparisons, because I'm curious to know, my 2 favorite things right now are the Kosas and the Clinique, even better. They are more creamy. Their texture is actually very similar to one another, and this one is quite a bit thinner. It feels more like a foundation as opposed to these two, but I feel that I get really good coverage out of here. So this is $260 in the Lancome. The Lancome, $260. And to me, this has a bit of a peachy undertone, although they are saying this is neutral. CN, Cool Neutral, 10, right here, and that is the Clinique, even better. So you can see there's a little bit of a color difference between these two. And the Kosas Concealer Revealer 2.5C right here, again cool. Let's put this on. Now I'm going to put it on a little differently than I did before. I originally got a sample from Sephora, and I put my pinky in to pick it up each time, but at the end there was hardly any, and I used this and kind of dug around the walls to pick some up, and I did 2 thin layers, and you know what? That might be the way to go. So I'm just picking some up from the doe foot. I actually think I got more than I did when I did this with my sample. And I'm laying this down where the darkness is on me. It's very, very thin. Now I'm not saying I don't have darkness other places, but this is more like darkness from shadowing, from puffiness. I'm going to do most of the blending with this brush. I'm going to powder one side, and we'll do a comparison towards the end of the day, but so far I feel like, for me, this is my favorite application. I'm not getting as much troughing, and yet I feel like I'm getting nice coverage. This is the By Terry Hydra Powder, and I usually like to start somewhere else and then go in with the eyes because I don't want a lot. Back in 4 hours. All right, you guys, it is 4 o'clock, so this has been on for 4 hours, and this is, light is changing. Light is changing. And yes, well, I'm trying a little lip product, and I ate something, so I don't mind the look. It's unusual, but let's look at the eyes. I do have a little bit of troughing going on right here and here. It doesn't look very makeup-y. I think if I got the other magnifying mirror out, I might see a little bit better, but this is the one I usually use, and I would say the powdered eye looks better than the unpowdered eye. It seems to me that this eye is a little blotchy. I'm just going to press this in. So powder, I think, is best, but you don't have to use a lot because it's not shiny. It's not like I'm powdering it because it's calling attention to itself because it's very shiny, but just so that it wears more evenly and that it doesn't wear away where that skin kind of rubs up against itself all day long. So this is day 3, but I am going to do one more day and see if we can determine if this has the same amount of coverage as the Clinique. So today, you guys, I'm actually doing something that will be coming up soon. This is the Chanel Ultra Le Tint, which is full coverage and matte, and, well, matte-ish. So color-wise, we're going to have an issue here, but I did want to put these on head to head and get an idea, if I possibly can, of which one has better coverage. My favorite way, I think, of using this is with the brush. So I'm just going to get this on where I have the most discoloration, and the Clinique. So the Clinique is closest in color of everything. Of the 3 things that I compared it to, and as you can see, it's not all that close. So I do feel that there is more coverage in the Clinique. I do. It's not just because it's lighter, but when I look here, I don't see the darkness that I do see here. Now part of it is just the shadow, so if I moved up this puffiness, you wouldn't see it as much. But when I do that, maybe it's just I haven't been able to get the concealer right there exactly. I'm just lifting this up and getting some there, but my mirror is kind of low, so I'm out of frame. I just wanted to show you what I was doing. But the difference is, I feel that this looks like skin. You know, it really looks good. It feels good. It is not drying at all. And this feels good, and it's not drying at all. So there you go, you guys. I do feel like it's kind of not fair because this is so much lighter, but all in all, I really like this concealer. I had used it probably for 3 or 4 days from that little sample, and now I've done 4 days of wear test, and I enjoy it. And it seems to work well no matter how I powder it and what I powder it with, but it works better with powder, 100%. And you guys, that is going to wrap it up. So I can't say that I have the same amount of enthusiasm that I've seen other people. Angie loves it, but I will say this. Oftentimes when Angie loves something, it's too drying on me. And that is absolutely not the case with this. However, I have more darkness, I believe, than she does. And it appears that I have a lot more issues under the eyes than she does. So if you don't have as many wrinkles and crepiness and puffiness and a deep trough, but you do have some dryness, I think you might really like this. If you go for a more natural look, I think you're going to really like this. But me, even with all my issues, I still very much enjoy it. That is going to wrap up this video. I really hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you come back again. Until we meet again, be smart, be safe, and I'm wishing you good health.